So you signed up, you have a cloud Android phone running in your browser, and now you are staring at a fresh home screen, wondering how you actually get your apps onto it. This is the part nobody really explains. You can see the phone, you can tap around, but the app you came to run is not there yet. Let me walk you through every sane way to put apps on a cloud phone and the one way that quietly gets your account flagged. Quick context on who is telling you this. I run a real cloud phone farm in Singapore. Real physical Android handsets sitting on dedicated hardware, each one on its own Singapore mobile carrier IP from Singtel, M1 or StarHub, not emulators, not a VM pretending to be Android, actual phones on a shelf. So when I talk about how an install behaves, I am talking about thousands of installs I have watched land on real devices over real time, not theory from a spec sheet. First, what an APK even is, because the whole topic gets clearer once this clicks. An APK is just the Android install file. It is the package that holds the app, the same way a setup file holds a program on a desktop. Inside it is the code, the icons, the permissions the app asks for, and a signature from whoever built it. When you install something from the Play Store, the store is quietly downloading an APK and installing it for you in the background. You just never see the file. An APK on its own is just a file sitting on the device. Nothing happens until Android installs it. And Android is fussy about where that file came from and who signed it. That fussiness is the whole story here, and once you get it, the four methods all make sense. There are 4 ways to get apps onto your cloud phone. The Play Store, uploading an APK file through the panel, installing over Adsby, and plain sideloading from inside the phone's browser. 3 of those are fine in the right situation. The 4th is the one that burns people. Let me take them one at a time, because the method you pick decides how the phone looks to the apps you care about. Method 1, the Play Store, and this is the one you should reach for first for anything that touches a real account. Your cloud phone is a real device with a real Google account on it. So you open the Play Store, you sign in, you search the app, you tap install. That is it. It works exactly like it does on a phone in your hand, because it is a phone, just one you are driving from a browser. The reason the Play Store is the safe default is the install referrer. When Android installs an app from the store, it records that the app came from the store, the most trusted source on the platform. Play Protect signs off without a fuss, updates flow automatically, and the install timestamp looks like a normal person tapping install. Apps that check how they got onto the device, and more of them check every year, see a clean, ordinary story. That is what you want. A word on signing in safely, because this trips people up more than the install itself. The Google account on your cloud phone should be one account used on that one phone and left alone. Do not log the same Google account into 10 phones. Do not bounce it between devices every day. Google reads that pattern as suspicious and can lock the account, sometimes asking for a recovery number you do not have. When you first add the account, expect Google to want to verify you with a code and let it use the phone's own real number where it can, because the SMS lands on the real device. Treat the account on each phone like it belongs to a single real person, because as far as the platform should be able to tell, it does. One phone, one account, one consistent IP left to settle. That consistency is exactly what a real device on a real Singapore carrier IP gives you for free. Method 2, uploading an APK file through the panel. Sometimes the app you need is not on the Play Store, or not on the store for your account's region, or it is an internal build somebody handed you. In that case, you upload the APK straight to the phone. On a real cloud phone setup, you do this through the control panel in your browser. You pick the APK file from your computer, it uploads to the device, and you install it from there. No cables, no local Android tooling, just a file upload through the same browser tab you control the phone in. This is genuinely useful for apps that the store will not serve you, custom builds you trust, or older versions you need on purpose. The thing to understand is that an uploaded APK is still a sideload as far as Android is concerned. The phone did not get it from the store, so the install referrer is not the store, and Android treats it with more suspicion. That is fine for tooling and for apps that do not gate on install source. Just know that for a sensitive account app, the store path is still cleaner. Method 3. Installing over ADB. ADB is the Android debug bridge, the developer tool for talking to a phone over a connection and issuing commands. On a real cloud phone, AppDub can be exposed over the network. So from your own machine, you connect to the phone and run install with the path to the APK. It pushes the package and installs it. This is the cleanest mechanical path when you control the build and you want to script installs across several phones at once. AppDub is the right tool for internal tooling, debug builds, and bulk setup where you are pushing the same package to a row of phones. The core command is just addb install followed by the path to the APK on your machine, and the bridge does the rest. There is one flag worth knowing. The -r flag reinstalls an app while keeping its existing data, which is handy when you are iterating on a build during testing. Drop it for a clean first install. You can also script it, looping the same install across every phone in a batch so you are not tapping through each one by hand. Like the panel upload, an ADB install is marked as coming from an unknown installer, not the store, so the same caution applies. Great for tooling, not your first choice for a banking or social app you need to survive long term. The fourth way is plain sideloading from inside the phone's own browser. You open Chrome on the cloud phone, you find an APK somewhere on the web, you download it, you tap it, you accept the prompt. It feels familiar because it is how people grab APKs on their personal phone. Functionally, it works. Structurally, it is the weakest of the four because the package came from an arbitrary download with no chain of trust at all, and Android knows it. This is the one that burns people, and I will come back to why in a minute. If you ever do it on a throwaway phone, never one carrying a real account. Now enabling unknown sources because the panel upload, ADB, and browser sideloading all depend on it. By default, Android only trusts the Play Store and blocks installs from anywhere else. To install an APK you uploaded or pushed, you have to allow the installer app to install unknown apps. On modern Android, this is granted per app. So you allow, say, the Files app or the browser to install APKs rather than flipping one big global switch. Grant it to the specific installer you are using, do the install, and you can revoke it again afterward if you want to keep the phone tight. This is normal and expected for any sideload. It is just Android making you confirm you meant to do it. Here is the part most guides skip entirely: verifying an APK so you do not install malware. The moment you step outside the Play Store, you are responsible for trusting the file yourself, and the internet is full of APKs that have been repackaged with something nasty baked in. A tampered APK can look and run exactly like the real app while quietly stealing your sessions or your account. On a cloud phone where you keep real logged-in accounts, that is the worst possible thing to install. So verify before you install. Get the APK from a source you actually trust, the developer's own site, or a reputable mirror that publishes checksums, not a random link from a forum. Check the file's hash against the published one if there is one, so you know the bytes were not changed in transit. Check the signing certificate because a legitimate app is signed by the same developer key version after version, and a mismatch means somebody else built that file. If you cannot establish where an APK came from and who signed it, do not put it on a phone that has anything you care about on it. It is not worth one phone, let alone an account. Let me talk about Play Protect and the gotchas, because this is where good intentions go to die. Play Protect is Google's built-in malware scanner, and it runs both on the device and on Google's servers. When you sideload, it scans harder. If an APK is unsigned, signed by a certificate it does not recognize, or matches a flagged pattern, Play Protect can quietly disable the app or remove it outright, sometimes hours after you installed it. There is often no big warning. The app is just gone, or it is there but refuses to launch. I have watched phones lose a side-loaded app overnight this way. The phone is not broken, it did exactly what Google designed it to do. The worst version of that gotcha is that Play Protect can mark the Google account on the device as having installed flagged software, and that flag follows the account, not the phone. Moving the account to a fresh phone does not clear it. So a careless sideload does not just cost you an app, it can taint the account you have been carefully building. That is the real reason the store path is the default for anything tied to a real account. A couple more gotchas. Region locks. Some apps simply will not install or run from the wrong region, and your account's country and the phone's Singapore IP have to line up with the app's expectations. A Singapore phone on a Singapore carrier seeing a Singapore account is a consistent story, which is exactly why people run real Singapore cloud phones in the first place. Fighting the region with a mismatched account is a fast way to get flagged, so let the device's real location do the work. And keep each device's app set clean per account. One of the biggest mistakes I see is treating a cloud phone like a junk drawer, piling on every app and every test build until it looks nothing like a normal person's phone. One phone should carry one identity. The apps that person would plausibly have installed cleanly, mostly from the store, and nothing else. If you need to test sketchy APKs, do it on a separate throwaway phone you keep away from your real account rigs. Do not mix tooling and trust on the same device. So here is the simple rule I actually follow on every phone. If the app touches a real account, install it from the Play Store, full stop. If it is internal tooling or a custom build, upload it through the panel or push it with ADB on a phone you keep separate from your account work. And if an APK came from somewhere you cannot verify, it does not go on a phone that matters, ever. That one rule is why my long-running phones still have the same clean installs they started with, while operators who sideload everything end up reprovisioning every few weeks. If you want to try this on a real device instead of just reading about it, there is a free 48-hour trial on the site. Spin up a real Singapore phone on a real mobile IP, install one app through the Play Store, run it for a couple of days, and watch how a clean install on a real handset behaves. That is the honest way to see whether this fits what you are doing before you scale to a row of phones. That is the whole picture. 4 ways onto the phone, 3 of them fine in the right spot, 1 of them a trap, and 1 rule that keeps your accounts alive. If this helped, subscribe, because the next video covers keeping a phone's apps logged in across an IP rotation without tripping every security check. It is the other half of running cloud phones that actually last.